How much would your organisation benefit if it could understand its customers and staff better than they understood themselves? We all know that we should listen to our customers and staff. It's a no-brainer, isn't it? But how many of us do? While ticking boxes is fine, it's people's real experiences that we need to be listening to. When we do, though, we receive lorry loads of unformatted and unstructured text that we lock away into databases where it remains untouched, impossible to collectively interpret and make sense of. Effectively, we can't see the wood for the trees, and we may as well just send all these real customer experiences to landfill and give them what we think they want. But in doing so, we fail to address the problems and issues that they face, or to meet their wants and needs, and we end up with dissatisfied customers, lots of complaints, and unmotivated, disillusioned staff. Just think then, if we could understand the collective wants and needs of our customers and create products and services that exceed their expectations, we keep existing customers, attract new ones, and sell more, all at the expense of our competitors. There's more. Focusing on customers' wants and needs actually makes us more efficient and effective, so that's more sales, less cost. This will have benefits for our staff too. Any company is only as good as its staff. Engaging with, listening to, and understanding staff pays hands down. Frontline staff really do know what's going on. Up until now, though, there's been no way of analysing customer feedback in big volumes. Up until now, that is. After many years of research across the globe, Acumen are proud to announce Pansensic. In essence, we take all your existing raw customer feedback and run it through the Pansensic software engine. That is, keywords and metaphor phrases combined with intelligent algorithms to quickly produce clear, signposted information and insights that will point you to the issues that really matter. Your next move is easy. Call Acumen on 020 3432 9804 or email info@acumen.co.uk to arrange a no-obligation demonstration of Pansensic's capabilities and what it can do for you. Put the wheels in motion, start to really understand your customers' needs, and phone Acumen today.
Welcome to the Great Egg Race. I'm Brian Cant, and for the next 5 weeks I'll be presenting this programme, which is all about solving problems. Now, for the first problem, which was about designing, building and racing an eggmobile, we've been running heats up and down the country to try to find the very best eggmobile like this one. Designed and built for the sole purpose of carrying an egg the furthest possible distance. Now, all the heat winners will be coming to the studio to compete for the Hartmann Fibre Trophy, and for the Supreme Champion, there'll be a visit to Toronto, where he'll represent Great Britain against the Canadians and the Americans in the first ever International Great Egg Race. Now, we've also invited 3 teams along to tackle a quite separate problem, and the thing is, they don't know what that problem is yet. But very soon, these working areas will be hives of activity as the ingenuity of these gentlemen is put to the test. Our principal judge for the series is Heinz Wolf, Director of the Clinical Research Centre's Bioengineering Division in London, and today's specialist judge is Michael French, Professor of Engineering at Lancaster University. And so to the teams from EMI, we have Robert Woolley, Andrew McIntosh and David Bell, and next representing the Post Office, Jonathan Backhouse, Eric Whittaker and Alan Bimpson. And the third team are all industrial design students from Leicester Polytechnic, And they're Nick Starling, Martin Allen, and Richard Holmes. And they've each brought along the results of the first problem that we set them, which was to design and build their own team eggmobile, and they'll get a chance to race those later on. But what, you may ask, is all this egg racing about? Well, to find out, let's ask Charlotte Allen, our egg racing reporter. Charlotte.
Thank you, Brian. Well, it's all about getting as much energy as possible out of one of these, a small elastic band. It's an idea that started a couple of years ago in Canada as a bit of fun, really. But it is fun with a purpose because it concerns the most efficient use of energy. I mean, goodness knows we all hear enough these days about the need to conserve energy and the need to use the energy that we have more effectively. So what we're doing is saying, okay, here is one very simple source of energy. Now let's see how we can get the maximum output from it. And one way of illustrating that particular challenge is to build an eggmobile, is to build a machine which will carry one 70-gram egg the farthest possible distance along a track, using only one rubber band as a power source. But why do we use an egg? Well, there's several reasons, really. One, of course, is that it's a very simple payload. But the other is that it's a very fragile one. So the whole business of moving it demands very careful thought, as indeed does the whole question of how best to use your rubber band. Now, really, basically, there's only two things that you can do with it, but opinions differ as to which is the most effective. The first thing that you could do would be simply to stretch it. But if you do that, you've got a problem, because what you want is a controlled release of energy. In other words, you want this thing to contract slowly. And in order to get it to do that, you're going to have to design some sort of gearing system. Well, the other thing that you could do would be to twist it. But if you do that, you've got another problem, because what you're doing is you're building in friction, and you're going to be using part of that energy to get rid of that friction. And that's only two of the problems. Anyway, that's the challenge that we sent to people all over the country using the BBC local radio stations, and then we took to the road to have a look at some of the ideas that people had come up with. And we were in for quite a few surprises. The first place that we visited was the Radio Birmingham heat. Right, well, this is Richard Gilly getting his eggmobile double yoker set to go. It's a very, very critical business, this, getting the elastic band to exactly the right tension. Especially since he's made some adjustments to this machine after his first run. His first run he only went 9.77, and he's hoping for much better things on this one. He relies on this machine on a friction gear drive. And for his second run, he's changed the diameter of one of the two gears. It's just simply a question of whether or not the glue's dried, I think. Well, on the starting grid now is a machine that's been causing a lot of interest in the crowd here. You can see, if you look closely, the egg in the cockpit there is named albumin, which will give you an idea of how seriously they're taking this thing. Right, he's been given the off and he's away. It's a very simple design, this, actually. It's a sort of large tricycle, and it uses a rubber band stretched straight to pull a thread around the drive axle, and that's the way it works. And I'll tell you what, it gets up a terrific speed as well. Right, now this is the rolling record. A little bit of incidental information. The actual records involved here are the Brandenburg concertos. I don't know whether that has anything to do with this speed at which it's traveling. Okay, this is the second run for David Turner's Ego. Remember, 77.03 meters is what he did the first time, much to the astonishment of everybody here. Although I don't think it was to the astonishment of David Turner himself. Tell me something, what made you want to enter this competition? I mean, what was there about this idea that